we have to understand that a lot of people in our predicament, in our situation, where we may not be the most acceptable in the eyes of society and the eyes of the common public in the mainstream. And we're going to have a lot of people that do not like us, that despise us wherever we go. Doesn't matter if you go to the moon, it doesn't matter if you go to an underwater base on Jupiter, on one of Jupiter's moons or whatever. It doesn't matter. There's always going to be some type of cohesive and progressing problem. I was talking to somebody earlier and they were just telling me how in class, they have this one girl that they really like. And every time they try to talk to her, she finds an excuse to not talk to him. And I'm like, damn, that's brutal, And I just came up and straight up told him, I was like, bruh, she's not interested. It's based probably on your looks, And he was like, yeah, he's kind of short. He's 5'5", a little shorter than me, kind of chubby, he deeply into anime and stuff like that, and even wears the anime shirts and stuff and, kind of nerdy, and she's respectful and all. But then he told me like the other day, she pretty much was like, can you just please stop talking to me? I was just like, damn, it's cold. It's crazy how bold some people can be, especially like when it comes to females in those social interactions, in those social settings. They don't give a damn, And he said that hurt him, but she said it in such like a polite way, it hurt even more. I was like, wow. And I felt them, man. I've been through similar experiences like that in my life. I've been through, some crap, right? And it goes to show you when you're a certain type of man, it's like the universe has a target on your back. It's like the universe has some type of sick, psychotic scope at you. And it aims it at you and it fires relentlessly and persistently. And you get it. And you take it, and then over, so many shots it fires at you, and so many times you've been hit and wounded and downtrodden, you start to realize something, and you start to gain wisdom, and you start to gain life experience or spiritual growth and development, meaning that you see life for what it is. You're not some blue pill normie fool. You know what I mean? You see life for what it is. And you start to realize that there's a lot of pain, isolation, desolation in this world. And it does feel like there's like evil entities, spirits that follow certain people around and they try to torment them. They try to break them. They try to analyze them. They try to study them. Have you ever realized that certain pain in certain situations in your life is like customized just for you? It's almost like whenever you have those thoughts or those ads that pop up, like you were thinking something and an ad pops up right when you were just thinking something, like after you were just thinking, like, what the hell is this damn phone reading my mind? And you start thinking, are you crazy or not? And then you learn about the Central Intelligence Agencies, classify, cerebral programs that they have, and their black ops sites. And you just realize, man, that this world doesn't like men who are not traditionally handsome, traditionally successful, or just out the void, you know. And you notice that when you're somebody that's not the most successful, not the most handsome, not economically stabilized, that the world will come at you 10 times harder than the handsome Chad or Tyrone, who's an asshole, but he has the girls, he has the nice car, he has the big old house, he has the talent, he has the success. Meanwhile, there's somebody out there that may be, traditionally not the best looking, but they have a good heart, they have a good mind. If somebody just gives them a chance, they'll be able to rise out their situations and gain some type of stabilization, and they'll be able to prioritize their own mental health and well-being. But, the world doesn't like people who are just normal type of guys, like the world, it shits on its average man nowadays, like if you say that you're a trash man, if you say that you a mailman, if you say that you drive trucks or something like that, a lot of these girls are turned off by that. And it's crazy because it's like you're turned off by stability. You're turned off by somebody who's, they may not be the most famous or the most handsome, but they have, stable income. It may not be the most, but it's stable. And these girls in their younger years would trade all that away for, a rock and roll with Chad and Tyrone. And in case you guys don't know the original term of rock and roll, it came from African Americans or whatever. It's what African Americans used to say when they used to, engage in sexual activities in bed. They call it rock and roll. If you look at the history of rock and roll, you'll see, the origin of rock and roll. But that's the original term of rock and roll. It's a sex term. The rock and roll in bed. That's what it meant. And then it turned into what you see now today. And a lot of people don't even know that. You just Google what I'm saying. But I don't know, man. It feels like a lot of people go through a lot of battles in life. They go through a lot of struggles. They go through a lot of things. And a lot of us, we've been through a lot. And it seems like we're going to continue to go through a lot. And one thing I can say is that just because you go through something doesn't mean life is going to hand you a victory on the plate. It doesn't mean life is going to take it easy on you. It's like the more things you go through, life is going to turn it up, and turn it up. And you can't allow yourself to get into depression, and you can't allow yourself to have any type of mental negative fluctuations or associations. And it's hard. It's difficult. It's easier said than done. It's easier said than done, man, because this world is designed. Just look at it. Look at all the oppressive systems. It's designed to break you. It's not designed to uplift you, because if it was designed to uplift you, a lot of things that people have to pay for would be free, point blank, period. But the fact that they keep going on with the inflation, they keep causing all these pointless and needless wars, and they keep having a war against the regular people, the average citizen. The average American citizen thinks they're free because they get to wake up, go to a 9 to 5, maybe after work, maybe go to the grocery store and get an ice cream cone, maybe a video game from GameStop or whatever, and they think they're free. When in reality, all of these systems and subsystems are set to keep you trapped. It's set to keep your mind focused on your outer and not your inner. You see, it takes inner spiritual growth and development. That means focusing on things that uplift your spirit, not focusing on things that attract negative energetic manifestational frequencies, such as fighting, arguing, doing things that are just low vibrational. And it's hard because you live in a world which feeds off your negative energy. It feeds off your negative attention. It feeds off of things that are harmful to your soul and your spirit. Now, what do I mean about spiritual growth and development? Understanding the world you in, just looking around at the world and just looking at it critically with a critical eye and a critical evaluation and analyzation, and saying, is this something that a good, wonderful being would create? Yes or no? Where you have loved ones who you loved your whole life and they just disappear out your life forever. You will never talk to them or speak to them again. Like, damn. People that you used to see every single day. That breaks your heart. That breaks your spirit. You see a girl that you like, but you can never have because she doesn't want nothing to do with you because maybe your skin color configuration is too dark. Maybe you're too short. Maybe you're too poor. Or maybe you're just, your bone structure, how you look like, is just not compatible to what she wants. And you really want her, but she don't want nothing to do with you. Or maybe there's a car you want. Or maybe there's something that you want. And you just can't have it. And you start to think, well, why am I focused so much on these gains? Is it for me or is it for, validation, for the society? That's where you have to really think and say, what's good for my spirit? What can get me into my heaven? You know what I mean? Without materialistic gains. But the problem is you live in a materialistic world. See, it's messed up because we're spiritual beings trapped inside the flesh. We're spiritual, eternal beings trapped inside a materialistic, ritualistic, ballistic, sick, sadistic world. It's twisted. And that's just the way it is, unfortunately. But to gain your spiritual growth and development, you have to look at certain things and say, okay, no, I will not, do that bad thing because that results in a cataclysm. It results in like a domino effect of negative things that would happen if you do that one thing, and you stop and think, and you look at the world and you just say, that's not right. That's not right. That's not right. This person has billions of dollars and just bought a $250 million yacht. And meanwhile, there's people starving in his state or starving in his country. That's not right. How come you got to pay for this type of food? Apples and shit. How come we can't have a little mini apple tree or a little shit like that? How come they took away the gold standard? If you know anything about gold, gold has spiritual properties. I don't know if you guys ever heard about white gold, but I'm not going to get too deep in that. But just know this. You can do your own research. Gold is not just gold. There's a reason why they took gold away from the people. And there's a reason why gold was always, admired by ancient Egyptian pharaohs and kings and stuff like that. It has spiritual properties and it helps protect you from negative energetic forces. Certain elements and certain bracelets and certain type of chemicals or whatever, it helps protect from all these outside forces. Look into what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like sapphire, like ruby crystals and stuff like that. Like there's certain things you can wear on your body that increases blood flow, that increases your mind. It's like kind of like if you ever do that stargazing stuff and you look into the sky, whatever, or you do those what's that shit called? Um, where it's like if you're like because I'm a Pisces or whatever, and when you read those horoscopes, sometimes they be wrong. You know what I mean? Like, well, that ain't right. What the hell? But sometimes they be accurate. And it's like, wow, that's cool. That's accurate. But this is real shit. You know what I mean? Like, we live in a world where there's so many secrets. There's so much deception, and it's used and utilized as a weapon. And it's hard to know what's truth and what's fiction, but you have to do your own spiritual investigation. Your soul's going to tell you what's real. You know what I mean? Your spirit's going to tell you what's real, what's fake, what's phony, what's not the homie. You know what I mean? Your soul's going to tell you, it's going to tell you. And over my life, man, I've understood that there's certain things and events that take place in your life which help you grow spiritually. It helps you become more keen. It develops more spiritual acuity, more spiritual resilience, more spiritual persistence. And you can transform that. You can transmute that. You can transmute your negative experiences into something positive. It doesn't mean you're gonna make it and be a millionaire in a year. It doesn't mean that. But it means that you can help train your mind to stop letting negative energetic manifestational frequencies dictate your spiritual properties. You know? It's deep, man. And especially in somebody in my situation, doxxed, left homeless, family passing away, multiple family members passing away year after year after year, having your privacy invaded, people watching and listening to your channel who you don't want. They just magically found your channel because, their group found your channel. I don't know how they found it, but they find it. And now they listen to everything you post, trolls who are obsessed with you, who you don't even know. But that's what it is when you're a creator. And that's what's crazy about it is, bro, I wasn't even a big YouTube creator, bro. I had 3.41K subscribers in about a year. And like, what, 500,000 all-time views or something like that? It was either 430,000 or 500,000 all-time views or whatever. I know that doesn't mean much, but I mean, from starting the channel on my phone and just talking, like, hell, I never expected that. I never expected to get famous, you know what I mean, in the BP community. DBDR knows who I am. Savvy Guy knows who I am. All the greats, you know what I mean, in this community know who I am, you know what I mean? And we have talked and spoken before, you know? And that's interesting because I remember watching the BP community thinking, oh, this is an accepting community. People talking about what they're going through. People been through hardships. As soon as I go in it and I start, really taking off with the bot videos, you know what I mean? I attract negative energetic manifestational frequencies that derail me, that study my videos and use my videos against me to affect me in real life. And then they hide behind anonymous profiles and stuff like that. It's crazy. And even then, I still create. I may not have the best beats right now, but I'll never give up. I may not have the best raps right now, even though people are enjoying them. People emailing me, hey man, how come you? Someone told me the other day, just make a new channel, and because I had another music channel before that one got banned or taken off YouTube, before my main one got attacked. And he was like, just make a brand new music channel, man. He's like, I'll subscribe, listen to your music, man. Just and start putting them on streaming platforms. Start trying to earn from them. He's like, who cares if the quality is not the best? Just start, man. Just keep going, bro. It's like, you got talent. Like, I appreciate it, bro, because it's good to have people tell you got talent, but we got to understand that in this world, there's entities that don't want us to make it. And you have to fight these supernatural forces. That's what it feels like to me. And that's what I've seen my whole life. Certain people, whoever rules this realm, they do not want them to rise. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you're not around the right people and the right circumstances and the right things just happen, it may never, ever, ever happen for you. You know? Even Eminem, my favorite rapper, he quote unquote lost the battle, which I seen the battle. Eminem won that battle. They were just being biased, you know. Eminem won that battle, but they gave him second place. And then one of Dr. Dre's A&Rs or whatever was like, hey, can I have one of your CDs? And Eminem just tossed it to him. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. Because he's like, fuck it. He lost the battle, he felt like. But Eminem may have lost that battle, quote unquote, but he won the war. Because now that person who beat Eminem supposedly, where is he at? You don't hear about him, you know? But you hear about Eminem to this day, right? But it took him signing with Dr. Dre to actually get that mainstream fame and recognition. Eminem was rapping years before that, you know, putting his heart and soul into it, you know, working dead end jobs here, dead end jobs there, but he didn't give up. He's dealing with his baby mama Kim, dealing with his mother, dealing with living in trailer parks. Eminem went through hell, you know, to try to get his dream to come true. And then it finally did when he got with the right people. When he got with Dr. Dre, boom! It took off like a rocket ship. It took off like a German missile to Britain back in 1942 or 1941, 1943. You know, because you guys don't know history about that. You know, the Germans created the rockets. You know, and they were firing it all through Britain in World War II. Yeah, you know, you know. So this world, it seems like, is designed to break your mind. It's designed to break your spirit, but you can't let it. You have to be strong. You know, I know it's easier said than done, but never give up on your dreams and ambitions. It doesn't mean that your dream, just because you keep trying and trying, doesn't mean you're just going to be magically successful. But it's either that, go ER, or rope, or cope. You know, if I'm drowning in the river, I might as well try to stick my hand up and grab the boat and try to latch on, or just be gone.